Hello, students. Maliki here again. So I hope you're all getting on well with your project. I want to point out one particular area here. So this is kind of part two of finishing out your project here, and it has to do with your sheets. So you can see over on my project browser here, I've got my sheets organized somewhat in this manner here. And so I'll go into each one of those after I cover this particular area here. So filling out your title block, really important. All right. And I noticed that some of you do it, some of you do some and then don't do others, and some of you just forget about this altogether. Now, this is really, really important in terms of a project. Because the information that is contained within here is absolutely essential to an organized, coordinated set of data, set of information, and set of sheets. And next year, when we go onto the cloud, this will become even more important. So I want to explain the basis of what we've got here and how you're going to fill this out. Okay, so this sheet, sheet family that I've given you, and the reason I specifically use this is that it's a professionally designed sheet and all of that, but also it has the drawing number down here, and it's got these placeholders, which if you didn't know the background to them might be a little bit confusing. So I'm going to explain these to you. So what these are basically, they are the ISO 19650. And ISO 19650 is an international standards organization publication, right? And what it does is that it is a standard, an industry standard file naming convention. All right. Now, you know that for all of your PDFs and your projects and things like that, we have a file naming convention within architectural technology, and we have encourage you, we require you to use that file naming convention because it helps us in terms of assembling all of the work and have it available to external examiners and people like that. So similarly, ISO is the default standard. Okay, there's there's a few other standards out there, but this ISO 19650 is the default standard, and this is the one that we're going to use. Now, even here, and these little placeholders here, these are standard across that. There was an update to the ISO last year, and even these have slightly changed. But we're going to stick with what we have here for the moment. And once you understand the process of what I'm doing here, then the changes that have been enacted with the annex to 19650, the UK annex to 19650, you'll understand how to go and fill those out. So basically, each one of these is a placeholder. And if you look across here in my properties, you will see these parameters here. Now, these are shared parameters that have been introduced into this project. Okay, so we've introduced project parameters, we've gone into the shared parameter library, if you like, and we've extracted these and we've included these into the project. And each one of these parameters are associated with this title block and this family, this sheet family, more importantly here. All right. So the first thing that you're going to do for each of your sheets is fill in drawing by. And this is package name, package number, right? So you're going to put in your name there. Now, the handy thing about this is that once you do it once, you get that little drop-down box there and you can fill it in. So there's my name. Here's my student number. Okay, it goes in there. And if I had a different student number, okay, so say I'm filling in your student number and my one, so C7, okay, you can see I filled that one in there. And then when I go to the next sheet to repeat this, you can see I've got the numbers are available to me here. So I can use that one or this one here. All right. So what I'm saying to you is that, and it's typical of kind of text-based parameters. Once you fill it out once, it becomes available to you wherever you need to fill that out in other sheets within this project. All right. Now, the next thing, so I'll go apply here and you can see now. So my name and my student number has been filled out there. So that's essential. That's the first thing you're going to do for each and every sheet. And the way this currently works is that you need to do this for each and every sheet that you produce. Now, that's a little bit of a pain. There probably is a way around that by customizing your sheet family or something like that. We'll take a look at all of that next year. But for the moment, this is how we're going to do this. So the drawing title, you can see down here that when I name the sheet, so I'm going to right click that and rename. And you can see what Revit will do is that it'll set up kind of a system of naming the sheets in sequential order. So it'll start off at 100 or 101 or 102, but you can easily go in and change these. So I'm going to use the 18 number, and this is a set of plans. So as soon as I fill that box out there, this gets filled, but also this gets filled out here, the rolling number. You can see Revit sheet number. Okay, so it fills out those two placeholders there. So what we want to look at now are these ones here. Notice as well that if I pick the family, those parameters disappear. So I got a new set of parameters, which are project parameters, which are directly related to the sheet here. Indeed, you can see drawn by, checker, designer, and approver. Okay, so that's these little boxes here. So these are parameters, and these are the labels that are associated with those parameters there. So it jumps around a little bit in order to get this filled out correctly. And but as I take you through this, hopefully it'll become clear. Now, the next thing we need to do is the project. All right, so here's our project, and this is project 02, isn't it? So we're going to do a capital P and underscore 02. This is project 02. Sorry, 02 it should be, shouldn't it? Yeah, 02. Okay, and I'm going to apply that, and that pops up in here. Now, according to the ISO, you are limited to the amount of characters that you can use for each of these placeholders here as well. So just be kind of aware of that. And also, if you get too large, then obviously the label will have a text size. So if you need to go back in and make these numbers a little bit smaller, then you have to go all the way back into the parameter, into the label, edit the label, and change the text size from there. Okay, so that's something that needs to be done. Now, next thing is the originator. So the originator is going to be a kind of up to a 5-character acronym to describe, say, your firm or your something along those lines. So it's a bit more general in this case. So in the originator here, I'm putting in TU831. All right. Okay, so there's TU831, and that is your course name here. So I think that's fair enough to have here. The volume refers to if you have a large model and you've broken it up into different areas or something like that. You might have volume 1, a volume 2, volume 3, something along those lines. So say if you were doing a hospital and you had 3 separate wings or something like that, you might be able to break the further define the sheet by its volume. So volume 1 refers to maybe a portion of the building or something along those lines there. In our case, we have a single volume. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the capital XX, all right, capital XX. And that's just saying that there's no distribution of different volumes here. It's the same volume. The level, and again, this is the ground and first floor plan, all right. So I could put in 00 underscore 01 and apply that. Okay, so that's that one there. If you didn't want to, if you were using in a project that there wasn't any levels, then again, you would put in the XX there to say that we're not using different levels here in this case. So when you come to that descriptor, that little placeholder, say for your sections and things like that, well, you're not going to put in all the levels. You're just going to put in XX in that case there. Next, we're on to the type. Okay, so in this case, it's going to be P for plans. All right, and again, this isn't kind of guesswork here. This is laid out in the ISO 19650. So I'm just giving you the heads up in terms of what these are here. And then the status, you can see down here, the status. Status is very important because the status tells us, uh, well, what stage is the drawing at? Is it a work in progress? Is it ready for review? Is it finished and whatever? And the status are always capital S followed by a letter. Now we're going to do, I think it's S2, which means that this is ready for review. Now, I could be corrected on that one there, but I'm putting in S2 there. And I've got my project name in here. Now, don't need that one, and we don't need that one, all right? The role is, well, you're the AT, aren't you, on this? So I'm going to put in the role there and apply. So I've got my status in there, and I've got my AT100, and so that's that basically filled out. Okay, so that is following along the lines of the ISO 19650 file naming convention. All right, and so that's why I specifically use this sheet here, is because it's kind of set up in order to do that. Now we'll be going into this in more detail next year. So what you might want to do is change these things here because they're well, perhaps they could be filled out. Now I think I can fill these out from here as well. Look, so approved by, and that'll be yourself. Okay. All right, and designed by yourself. Okay, and you are the author, and you are the checker. Okay, now I'm going to apply those, and they have updated here as well. Okay, so now that's taken part of there. The scale as indicated, that's fine because we use our view titles to express the scale. And just to, again, a little hint for you there, if I pick that one, this is the one I prefer to use, okay? The default one is the title with line, which is that one there. And that's a pain in the butt, to be honest with you. So this is the one I prefer to use. And the reason I use that is that a couple of things here. This is very important, that detail ref. So that's number 2. And it's also giving me the scale, and it's also giving me the title. That's why I use that. So use that one, please, more than anything else there. Now, there's not much else to fill out here. You could put in the project address here if you wanted. Now, where do you find that? Well, you've got to go up into Manage, and you've got to go into Project Information here. All right. Now you can see that this is way out of date here. So I'm just going to update these things here. Again, once they're updated once, that's it for the whole project. So we're no longer DIT, we're now TU831. Okay, and the author is, I put in my email address there. You can leave that one as is. You can leave, you probably don't have these Kobe, so you can ignore all of those. Project issue date, if you wanted to put in the current date, which would be 19, April 2022. The project status, well, we know what the project status is one. So these are S2, wasn't it, that we put in? Okay. The client name is going to be TU831 underscore second year. And the address here, and this building is in the Dublin airport. So DAA. Oh, see that? There's a little box here, so you got to go in there, and this is where you put the address in. So this is UB. I just leave it at Dublin Airport for that. And the project name is building. Number is 02. So all of that is filled in, and you can see now that it's updated that little label there as well. And that other information that you put in there is if you created an issue sheet or a splash sheet or something like that, then that information will pop up there as well. Okay. Now, just to show you, I'm going to go into my elevations here. Let's take a look at these. Okay, and let's get down there. All right, so if I scroll up here, you can see that I've got a few little different things in here. So again, if you wanted to, for consistency, update all of these things here. And that's what I mean about hitting the drop down box. Once you've placed these once, then that text is available to you. And that's good, that's good, that's good. I think all of that is fine. And then, so the originator was hit the drop down box. And I've got TU831. The volume is XX. Yeah, the levels are, in this case, are going to be XX as well. These are elevations. It's S2 for review, project 02. And let's update all of that. Okay, so all that now is updated there. And let's see if it brought across the project address here. Yeah, it looks like it has there as well. Okay, so that's that one done. So you need to go through all of your sheets here. Okay, so might as well, I'll give you a look at how I've got my sheets organized here. I know I've got to do, oh yeah, I've got my site plan at True North. There's my basement. I still have a bit of work to do on that. Put in the car parking arrangements and all of that type of stuff there. If I zoom in down here, again, I need to update these as I did before so that we've got a consistency right across that. And that's what I mean. Some of you do sheet 1, sheet 2, and then forget about the rest of them. So at some point, allocate 20 minutes to go through this and get all of that done there as well. So here are my long section and elevations to show you. Very good idea, as this model now is slightly bigger than, it's probably the biggest model that you've done so far. So no harm to be doing a save as and do a save a copy of this somewhere on a hard drive or an external drive or something like that, or onto your C drive, so that you have a copy in case anything goes disastrously wrong. So I've got my south elevation, my north elevation, my short building section, and my long building section. And I've got all of my rooms tagged here as well. I've got my multi-category notes with the type marks all starting to populate all the way up there too. Here are my wall sections now. And as I told you, I decided to pull 4 wall sections, but from those 4 wall sections, I'm only picking 1, 2, 3, 4 details, specific details to be looked at. But again, those wall sections are really handy for the builder to understand what's going on in terms of north, south, east, and west of the walls. And as I said, those kind of wall sections are used where you get a transition from, say, one cladding material into another cladding material, or there's an overhang, or there's a recess, or something along those lines. Those kind of areas that will need to be detailed up. Here are my details. And you can see I've started to populate my details with my multi-category description tags. Okay, and I'll start to put in my line work in here in terms of putting in my fabrics and my DPCs and all that type of stuff as well too. And this is how I've organized my kind of fire access drawings. So I've called this fire access and services. So there's the fire, here's the access, and here's the services. So I'm doing a typical layout. I think this is on the ground floor plan, or you could pick the first floor plan, whichever you decide. You don't need to do this for all the plans, but you're going to cover fire, access, and services on each of the plans. And if I come up here to my project browser, you can see how I've got these organized here. Okay, and these are duplicate with detailing there. And I showed you how to turn on and off furniture as well if you want to do a furniture layout or something like that too. If I zoom into my fire here, you can see I'm using that little technique I showed you about. This is done using, if I go into and activate that, sorry, it's this one. You will see that this is the course. If I go into fine, all the red and the blues disappear, but if I go into course, they're back there as well. And that's a really quick and handy way of showing what is a 60-minute firewall and what's a 30-minute firewall and that type of thing as well there too. So, okay, just to recap there, what's really important here is filling out the information in the title block there. All right. Try to avoid things like those elevation tags popping up there. You can go into VV and just turn them off in the view, or you can alter them with the activate view. So I'm going to activate view. I'll activate the annotation crop. I need to put on my crop line here as well, show the crop region. Now that's what I mean about the, that is, I'll pull this all the way in here and I'll pull in the annotation crop there as well. And then I can turn that off. I can deactivate this view now. And you'll see that in this view, those tags have disappeared. So I'd repeat that for this one, this one, this one. All right, that's enough.